Welcome to Tammy Nation. Let's go.
I've been running from 9 to 5, been biting my tongue for all this time. Won't let anyone cut me short. I was thinking this was the way to go, and you put up your puppet show. I say cheers to life. No, I'll be no good man. Just leave me alone. I'm running the show. I'm telling you, it's my time to rise up. Live the life I'm proud of. No, you better go.
Good Saturday afternoon, everybody. It's July 22nd, 2023, and I'm Tammy Nation here to bring you my experience at the Turning Point event in West Palm Beach where Trump spoke. I was invited to the event, and I thought it was worthy of sharing my experience with you guys. Should you ever get the chance to go to such an event like this, to give you tips of what I found out, and that can be helpful and beneficial to you. I had a little extended stay in Florida, and I just got back not that long ago. So I know it's been a very long time since I've been on. But as far as the event, it was really hard to get any kind of good audio, let alone good lighting, let alone good connection at that event. And to tell you the truth, a lot of the speakers, they are uploading on Real America's Voice. They're loading that up so you guys can catch the speakers from the event. I will say that all the speakers that we experienced were really good. It was well worth going to the event to see these speakers. It was really a good time, but there were some bumps along the way as well that I wanted to bring up to you guys as well. Just like I said, to be able to forewarn you and let you know and give you a little bit of inside information should you ever go to one of these events, or just give you an inside feel of what it's like to be at one of these events. I know some of you have reached out to me wanting me to do this show, and I didn't know when I was going to be able to do it. So I got some free time now to pop on after work. So I thought I'm going to do it. I'm just going to go on and do it. So you guys will be able to catch it later on replay, and that's absolutely fine. But thank you to those of you who have reached out regarding this show and this event and want to know what my experience was like. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and start with the venue. Apparently is a very small venue. It held like 6,000. So it's really not that big of a venue in comparison to most venues. A small garage, beautiful area. West Palm Beach, if you've never been there, is absolutely gorgeous. It's amazing in West Palm. I've never been down there, so it was great to be able to see it. And like I said, I had an extended stay. A friend of mine has a house down there, so we were able to bunk with her and get a feel for the city and the area, which was really amazing. So it was like a work and vacation both at the same time. But starting off the night before, Turning Point kept sending emails to people, informing them of different little things, tidbits of information, like when the doors would open, what to expect, yada, 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 as it led up to the event. Well, the night before the event, they were supposed to send out an email to let us know further details and how to get our badges and stuff like that. So the badge looks like this. After you check in and stuff, you get a badge, and it looks like this. So it has my name on it. And it says adult attendance. It's just a little thing that you put around your neck, and you have to have it on at all times. So basically that's what you have to sign up for. If you lose this badge, it was like $10 to replace it. And it's totally understandable because they got to know who everybody is. So we did check in, and we were able to get our badges. But the thing that was different about this event compared to the Lindell event in Missouri that I went to last year And I know the Lindell event I went to last year, President Trump wasn't there. So that's a big thing right there, because the security and Secret Service was massive. And that's what took a long time for us to get into the venue this time. With the Lindell event, we got to check in ahead of time. We got everything in order. We knew what to do. With this event, you had to check in at really not ahead of time. You checked in online, but you still had to get there early to stand in line to get your badges and go through Secret Service and security and stuff. So the night before, they sent out a message and said, this is the time that you can go. This is when you can check in, blah, blah, blah. So we go to do that. But then also there was a little a side note about bags that you could bring in. There were no big bags. There were no duffel bags, no backpacks. And basically, hello, Bethia. Basically, they said they discourage you bringing any bag at all, because I think Mr. T was supposed to speak on Sunday, but it ended up he was speaking on Saturday. So the thing with the bags is they wanted you to have, if you brought a bag, it had to be a certain size. It couldn't be bigger than that. And it had to be clear plastic and or see-through. So if not, you had to have a 1 gallon size Ziploc bag. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So all the people that I was with, none of us had a clear bag. We didn't have any idea. We had duffel bags. So they said there would be absolutely no admission into anybody that had anything other than a see-through for a certain size. Or if it wasn't see-through, it had to be even smaller. So what did we do? We all ran to the store and we got these bags. And actually, these became the joke of the whole event with me and my friends, because this is what we ended up carrying around the event. You see this? And there's my little plastic Ziploc bag in there. And then it looks like this. And then my friend bought some cord and we made a fancy little strap to be able to carry it around our shoulder. So this is about the max size bag that you were allowed to bring into the venue, and it had to be absolutely see-through. And we had no idea. We wish that they would have let us know ahead of time, because maybe we would have brought something a little more fashionable. However, we made fun of it and we said, we'll always have memories of this, and that the plastic bag is the go-to forward fashion for 2023 into 2024. So we had a laugh about that because we didn't know till the night before. So we had to zoom to the store and try to find something. Thankfully, we did. And this is what we carried around the whole time. Not fancy, but it got the job done. We got to get through into the event. So that was okay. And like I said, I'm not really complaining. I totally understand that they wanted something like this because Mr. T was there, going to be there. So security, obviously, Secret Service was there. They had sheriffs there. They had the police there. I mean, it was packed. There were dogs all over the place. And I totally understand that. I just wish they would have gave us a little more heads up notice so we could get something a little fancier, but they didn't. So with that said, we were all excited. We got that the night before and we were ready to go. The next morning when we headed to the event, we got there way ahead of time because we wanted to make sure that we wouldn't be standing in line super long. And let me tell you, we were towards the front of the line. There were probably, I'd say, 60 to 100 people in front of us, and that's it. And there were 5 of us. And it was really a good time because some of these people I just met for the first time. My one friend's the one that invited me, and they were all very different characters of people and, different ethnicities, different beliefs. So it was really an interesting time to meet these women and spend time with them. Well, we get in line, you guys, and we're in the parking garage. There was no problem parking. We got right in line. Like I said, 60 to 100 people deep. Well, it was supposed to open at a certain amount of time. The line was supposed to start moving, but the problem is that didn't happen. It was like an hour and a half, I think, about behind time before the line started moving. And the bottom line is we spent 3 hours in line to try to get, and like I said, we were no more than 100 deep into the venue, and it was very hot. And this is the negative part of it, but I'm just going to be brutally honest with my experience, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Because like I said, I want to prepare you guys should you ever go. You have to be prepared. This event, like I said, was totally different than the Lindell event. The Lindell event was, I think, all media people, all podcasters and stuff. So it was totally different than the event I went to in West Palm because that had media as well as general admission. Then there were VIP people, but the VIP people had to wait a long time as well. It was poorly organized And I don't know what the deal was, but I had heard that this venue has had trouble before. There was a young man I met that is running for office in Florida, and he travels all over the place to all these different events, getting to know people, networking. Like I said, he wants to run for office, and he said this venue is famous for problems. And it definitely was. So 3 hours in, and imagine this, you're in the Florida heat, you're in a parking garage where the line is, and then you come out and you stand in the sun before you can even get through the doors. It was a 3-hour wait, no fans. Well, I shouldn't, I'll take the hit back. There were no industrial sign fans, but they did hand out the little paddle, wooden paddle with the cardboard on it that you could fan yourself with. So they did hand those out, but there was no water, no anything. And for me, even though I'm middle-aged, I am physically fit, but my concern was for the people that came up, the handicapped people or the people that weren't as physically fit, the people in wheelchairs and stuff. Everybody had the same line. And I was concerned about the heat they were experiencing, because even though we had a 3-hour wait, there were people that I heard had up to a 5-hour wait to get in. And it was very, very, poorly done, very poorly done. And then what was happening are the Turning Point kids, because a lot of these, I call them kids, but they're young adults, okay? They're the members. And Turning Point USA is from Charlie Kirk. And this event was Turning Point Action. But through the week, they have events with the younger people. They're trying to get the younger people involved and all that. So what would happen is these kids that had these badges would come up, be able to cut in front of the line and go in because it was their people. And the thing is, we only had one line to go through. And the VIP people were even waiting. They had a different little line, but, maybe they should have had a Turning Point members or people line, then a general admission line, and then the VIP line. But everybody was funneled into the same, obviously, area to go through the Secret Service and through like the checkpoint, because they had wands, they had the scanners and all that, which I totally understand. I'm not complaining about that. What I think the problem was is Charlie Kirk came out and said that not as many showed up as they had promised him. And so that was the cause for the delay. So apparently that was it. But I'm telling you guys, these people in that heat, it was 100 and some degrees, and you all know how stuffy a parking garage is. It was awful. For us to be there for 3 hours, us in the front of the line, was terrible. I had sweat all over, dripping down my back. It was awful. They didn't pass out like water. Like I said, they didn't get fans. They didn't get anything. People were complaining. And, I talked to a couple of the workers, and they're like, we had no idea it was going to be like this, blah, blah, blah. So hindsight's always 2020, but I say whoever planned that event, promotions people or whatever, when I was in radio and you had to plan events, you went to the venue, you looked it out, you looked at all the options, there's outlets. How many outlets do you have? Where do you want to put the tchotchke tents versus the prize tents versus the food tents, et cetera, et cetera. This venue, you went in, and as soon as you got through security, then you had to go to another line, which was just as long, because you had to go up into that line to get these badges. And I'm going to cover up my name because I hate it. So these are the badges. So they didn't do it ahead of time. So after the 3-hour wait in line, we had to wait in another line to get this badge, and you weren't allowed past that checkpoint unless you had this, and you had to wear these at all times. So we did that. So after we got through all of that, the first booth we came up to, it's a main hallway. Okay. And there's an upstairs. Well, they had what they call breakout sessions the first day. Breakout sessions were the different little speakers, or different speakers, not little speakers, but you go into these little conference rooms, and it was very small and intimate. And you could watch your favorite speaker. They had a lineup of the speaker or whatever. But as soon as we got in the main hallway, Steve Bannon was there doing War Room Live, and Lindell was standing right there. And if you guys saw on my community page, I popped up a few pictures. I haven't popped up any video or in all my other pictures and stuff, because like I said, my video that I got from the event watching the speakers isn't as high quality, obviously, as Real America's Voice, and that they're putting all the speakers up there. So go watch them. I just put a few pictures up there that I had, so you guys could see. But the point is, Bannon was there doing War Room. Lindell was there. And this is what was different than the Mike Lindell event. And this is what part that will help you guys as well. I would say always dress comfortable. Always dress with comfortable shoes. You couldn't bring water in either, by the way, no water. You couldn't bring any food, water. Like I said, clear plastic bags, and that was it. You had to buy everything on the campus, and I totally understand that because Mr. T was going to be there. They've got to protect him. I get it. But the thing is, you have to be comfortable because it gets very hot in there when you have a bunch of people in a small venue trying to keep the air conditioning going. And they said that it was going to be cold in there to bring a sweater, so we did. But it wasn't that cold the first day because there were so many people packed in there. So it was a bad layout in the fact that when you walk down the main aisle where Bannon was doing his show, it was just a tent. And if you saw any of it on War Room on TV, you could see everybody was just kind of like this, bumping into each other and all that. In the meantime, people behind are trying to get past the show people because we had this big half circle of all of us that were watching the show. And then it's only one aisle. So those people were trying to get by to get food or go look at merch or whatever, go look at their favorite speaker that was speaking in the breakout session. So that was a bad idea, bad layout. When we were at Lindell's event, you guys, they had all these shows and all these people up on stages, which was amazing and awesome because for one, it's up high. Everybody can see. You don't have to crowd in like doing this bobbing and weaving over tall and short people, trying to cram in there. So it was amazing. Lindell at that event in Missouri, he did it right because it was on a stage. You could look up, and then during breaks or after, what happened is they formed a line. So if you wanted to meet Bannon, like I did last time, there was one line and they had people organizing. You go up, say hi, and leave. At this event, it was chaotic. There was none of that. It was basically screaming Steve's name or Lindell's name or whoever the guest was. If you wanted a picture with them, you had to scream their name, hurry up, turn and grab a photo, and then they left. There was no organization. It was like all over the place with people. And then, you had people that were in wheelchairs where off to the right of Bannon, you can see me standing behind Bannon and on the show. And I was standing over there on the side because then it was the wall. And there were some there were some vets that were in wheelchairs that were trying to get up there so they could get a picture with Bannon. And then the people he wanted to interview were over there too. So it was kind of almost like a little area that, I was just trying to hold people back to help these people get in there. And one of the ladies he interviewed asked me to do it. So I did it. But the point is, it felt, I don't like when people spend all this money and they look forward to it and they have all this time that they wait and effort to go to an event and then it's chaotic like that and you're scrambling with other people to get to the person that you want to meet. At Lindell's event, like I said, it was organized. It was this nice streamline. It was calm. It was cool. Here, it wasn't. It was a free-for-all, and I wasn't happy with that. I think that was a bad organizational thing too. And Bannon's sitting there trying to talk and do his show. He's getting cues, and people are screaming at him. And there was a couple people there trying. I mean, people. It's not like they were being disrespectful, saying bad things, but they all wanted their picture with him, right? And they don't have a sense of timing with going live, not going live. So then some people didn't get pictures and left a little upset. It just, I guess for the average person, it left a bad taste in their mouth because they spent so much time, energy, and money to get here. I paid for a general admission ticket. I went not as a media person, which I'm glad I didn't, and I'll tell you why in a moment. I went as a general person, just wanted to go and observe, see what it was like. And I spent $200 for my ticket. That's not including plane fare, hotel, and all that. So some of these people had VIP tickets, you guys, and they spent up to $900 for these VIP tickets. These VIP tickets, you were supposed to have a VIP special line, which they did. Okay, but then you also had a special seating section to one part of the stage. And I think some of them had a meet and greet with Trump when he got there because I saw him walk past backstage and stuff. But for me, and it was supposed to be food. They were supposed to get a little like picnic lunch or whatever there. And I heard that some of them didn't get that. And so you guys know some of them weren't able to even see Trump. And I'll get to that. And they paid all this money, and it was horrible because this event was not this venue. I don't know if it was the venue. I don't know if it was the people running the venue or what it was, but it was very poorly done for the general average person like you and me who are just going to have a good time. It was bad. So they only had two that I saw, two small vendors. that had sandwiches and salads and coffee, 2 little, like, kiosks, okay? And then there was 1 main concession stand in the back, okay? Well, the day that Trump was there, the first day, they ran out of food. They ran out of the sandwiches and all that, so everybody was funneled to the back to the concession stand. Okay, so what happened? We decided to get in line early to make sure we could get into the main stage area to see Trump, but have food because we knew that, you have to get the seating ahead of time if you can, or you've got to be in line ahead of time, or you're not going to even get in there. So they kept it closed. So we stood in line for 2 hours to get food. And they were running out of food. They were making it fast, but they ran out of food. I ended up having a hot dog and fries. It was $9. I don't think that was so bad, but a pop or a soda was $4.50. So that was a ripoff. $4.50 for a soda is ridiculous. I know they got to make money, but that was too much money. That line went forever, you guys. It was horrible. So after we did that, we got to see one breakout speaker, and that was Scott Pressler. We watched him for a little bit. Then we went down and we got in line for Trump. They started the line. I mean, it was a 3-hour line to stand there because the main stage was blocked off. They were not going to let anybody in till a certain time. And let me tell you what, I'm so glad we did, because as soon as they opened that, hey, Kim Ellen, hello to you. As soon as they opened that venue up, guess what happened? It was like a stampede of people because it was general seating. And general admission ran toward. Now, they were trying to keep people organized, but there was no way to do it because the line wasn't just single file or 2 people. It was like 10 people deep and wrapped around that building. So if we would not have had the food, went around and then started standing in line for 3 hours. So yes, that day, the only thing we got done was to watch Bannon, which was amazeballs. But we had to stand in line 5 hours, 5.5 hours between food and to see Trump speak. So your whole time is spent standing in line. Fine. So we get a seat, we get seated in there, and we're sitting down, and then there are a couple speakers or whatever before Trump came on. But the bad thing was, a lot of people, you guys, did not even make it in there because they oversold the event. Charlie Kirk came on. You guys might have seen it on air after he left the event on doing his show. And he said they oversold the event because usually 80 to 85% of people show up, and more than that showed up. Basically, everybody showed up. He says he didn't realize that with the lineup he had, everybody would show up. Well, I'll tell you what, for me, no one, just having Trump there and alone is people are going to show up. They're not going to pay that kind of money for tickets and not show up. But you had Bongino, you had Donald Trump Jr., you had all these great speakers. You had Bannon speaking again. I mean, it goes on and on. The speakers were phenomenal. They were so good. And it's like I said, it wasn't that big of a venue, so to be able to see, you could see it well. They had plenty of screens where if you weren't close to the stage, you still felt like you were part of it because it's not that big of a venue. And then they had screens all over, and all the speakers were amazing. But the thing is, people started yelling and screaming because what happened was there was a wall in the middle of the venue behind it. The main stage was there, then they had a wall back here, and then it was open on either side because the bathrooms were there. And then over here, there was another exit. But the problem is they roped that off, and they had barrels, and they had Secret Service standing there. So anybody that didn't make it in because it was full there was standing room, because at the very back they also had media. They couldn't even get in, so they had to watch from back there. It didn't matter if you were a VIP or not because it was oversold. Some of them, I heard, did not get even into the venue, so they had to stand way back and watch, the speeches from there standing up, which that's a bad thing too. And then the one bathroom you couldn't use. They had it blocked off. So of course you guys know what it's like for the ladies' restrooms, right? How long it is. So with only having one bathroom, it had like 5 stalls in it. The line went all the way from the bathroom across the media line back into the venue to use the restroom. And this was even before Trump got on. So that was a little chaotic too. People were upset, et cetera, et cetera. So I would be upset too. If I didn't have a seat, I don't care if it was the last seat. If I didn't have a seat and I paid that kind of money, I'd be furious. So that was a big ball drop on whoever it was. I don't know if it was Charlie, if it was people or what. I'm not trying to play the blame game, but like I said, you didn't have just all youth there. You had a variety mix of people that had different age groups. They had different levels of physical capabilities. So there had to be accommodations made for them that I don't think were done very, very well. I think it was very disorganized that way. So basically, like I said, the first day it was standing in line. It was outside 3 hours. It was 2.5 hours for food and then 3 hours to stand in line for Trump. But bottom line is, to see Trump speak was amazing. He was very vibrant. He spoke an hour and a half, I believe it was. To see Secret Service and see the officers and the sheriffs and stuff do their job and keep all of us safe was amazing. I know that they work hard each and every time, that they have to. I mean, that's a big job they have to do and stuff. But I don't know. There's been things said and done about the venue is run by the people that are on the other side that don't like Trump and his people. And then supposedly Secret Service was from the Biden administration. These are the rumors I heard. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if they got enough people or not. The Secret Service, I don't know. I don't claim to know. These are just the things that are on the ground level for people like us that were there, people, what they were saying regarding this. So I know that Charlie Kirk came on and said also that he didn't have enough Secret Service people either. And you know, after Trump finished speaking, they ushered us out. So they wanted to break down and tear down the venue as soon as he was done speaking. So some of us thought, you know, we're not going to rush into that parking lot and rush out. We want to let it fade out, because you know how it is after church or a concert. Everybody wants to rush and get the heck out of there. Well, we thought we'd wait and we'd go through the merchandise section, and just look at stuff. And they ushered us out of there. They said, "Hey, we're going to close down." They weren't very nice about it actually either. So they just wanted us herded out. It was terrible planning, Kim. It was terrible planning. But to see Trump, I'm telling you, was worth it. Would I do it again? Nah. I would not do it again. And if I had somebody that was handicapped or had, an elderly person walking with a cane or something, that's what I was concerned about, because nobody can stand in heat like that. And these people, like I said, people behind me, 5 hours, I heard up to 6 hours to even get into the venue. Now that tells me they had time to get in the venue, grab a pie of water, go to the restroom, and then immediately go to the line for Trump. Right? If you're in line that many hours, and when Trump was 3 hours, it was horrible. That part was really bad. The breakout sessions, the thing is, those would have been really cool, because like I said, each little room that the speaker was in was so tiny and intimate. The speakers were, walking around. Like I said, Scott Presler, my friend wanted to see Scott Presler. We saw him. It was okay, but we didn't have time to do any others, because if we would have not eaten, or we would have not seen Trump. So that's where it was bad. That's where the bad planning and organizing came in. And then I'm going to get to the next day here. Like I said, I know that Charlie Kirk, I'm not knocking him or his event. I know he's had plenty of events. It's just this venue, I guess, was what stunk. People were saying how bad the venue was, the reputation they have. I don't know. It was my first time in West Palm and at this venue, so I have no idea. Day 2. So after day 1, we were exhausted. Okay. But coming down off of Trump speaking, he did a fantastic job. It was amazing. And to be a part of that. So, that part was worth it. It was a dream of mine to see him and someday, and I was blessed to be able to see that. So, but like I said, I'm going to be honest and give you guys the lowdown of all of it, the good, the bad, the ugly. Day 2 came, and we're like, oh no, what's the line's going to be like now? But I knew it wasn't going to be as bad, because Trump was out of there. Secret Service was out of there. It was basically just general security, then your police and your sheriffs that were there to protect people, the other speakers that were there. So day 2, we got there. It was funny. We walked right into the parking garage, got in there, got a good spot to park, went walking into the venue, and guess what? Boom, we were in that venue like there was no tomorrow. It wasn't even any sweat. And it was so funny, because one of the guys I was talking to in line the day before, you got to remember that these people that work it are the ones that get all the verbal attacks from everybody, because it's not like you can call Charlie Kirk up and complain. So all these younger people that were trying to manage the lines or keep spirits spirits up and saying, I know, I understand. Thank you for being patient, were getting yelled at because these people were passing out. It was too hot. So they did have a tent outside that they would take people to, give them some water apparently, and bring them back into the line, which is what the guy told me. So I saw the guy the next day and I'm like, today is a much better day. And he's like, absolutely. So he was in a better mood. And like I said, Charlie Kirk, when he got on stage day one, he apologized profusely to everybody. And he said, thank you for staying here. Thank you for the patience and all that stuff. And, you know, after it happens, there's no repercussions, right? There's nothing you can do but apologize. The good news is day one, they paid for the parking. We just shot out of there. So we got free parking that day. Day two, we walked right in. It was awesome. All day long, the only thing that was going on were the main stage, and it was speakers. You guys, the list of speakers, boom, ba boom, ba boom. They got 20 minutes or so a piece, and it was just a phenomenal list of speakers. Like basically, wanted to see everybody. So what we did was we went in there, we got a seat, and then we'd alternate going to merchandise. Like two of us would go to merchandise while the other two held our seats, and restrooms. So we shared it because you had to be in there sitting down or you'd lose your seat, right? So that was great because the breakout speakers, or all the speakers, were fantastic. You could see the lineup. It was amazing people. The Asa Hutchinson guy, the Asa guy, however, he's the one that got booed, and people were like just did not like him at all. You know, he's running for president and he did all this stuff. So he's the one nobody liked. Everybody seemed to like everybody else. And that was very interesting to see the feel and the mood of the people. That's the other thing, you guys. Day two, because everybody could get in, because there was no packing like animals, you know, shoulder to shoulder, there was space to breathe, space. Everybody's mood was much better. It was so great to see people dressed in patriotic clothing, just having a good time, you know, sharing good conversations and stuff like that. Day two was completely different than day one. And once we get to through the speakers, like there was a gap in the speakers that we didn't want to see. So I went to the merch tent and media row, because for the life of me, I couldn't find media row. And if you guys don't know what media row is, it's the lineup of all the channels, stations, Breitbart, all those people that are there. There was a couple social media influencers there too. Mel K was one of them that were there, but mostly it was like Breitbart and the Daily Mail, all this kind of stuff. Now, this is what was bad about this. When we were at Lindell's event, it was big stages, it was spacious, or for people like us, we didn't have the stages. When I went with LWN, we were just outside and you just would pick a spot and you would interview people. And that wasn't so bad because the hallway was huge and you just have a nice little intimate interview and then you'd leave. Or you could be inside with the media people and you could look up at all the lights and look at them while the speaker, like Lindell and them, were on the main stage. No big deal. Well, here, media row was in the middle of the venue on the bottom level. And it felt like we were in a basement because everything was black. And then media row was like this little U-shaped pathway. And they were in these little booths. I'm not kidding you guys. No bigger than like a little office space with black curtains around them. So what happened was if you tried to go in and around media row, it was so jam-packed you couldn't move because they had media tents on both sides and then people walked through the middle and people were laughing like it's a joke to even get near media row. It was so bad. You had to actually wait to even get in there because there were so many people. Because what happens is when people walk in there and there's only like this much of a gap and there's media on both sides, people stop and look. Just like when you're at like a art festival or something and there's all these tents and people are cramped and you're trying to do this to see what kind of merchandise they have. It was the same thing here. It was awful. They should have had all the media on one side and let all the people walk on the other side. So that way, if people stopped, you could at least stack them up deep. Where here, you only had 4 to 6 feet of an aisleway, and you had people stacked up that were looking at both sides. So it wasn't moving. So you're trying to jiggle between all these people. And you could tell when somebody big was there because Bannon went on with somebody, I forget who it was, and you knew it was Bannon because or Lindell when they would go in there, that media row, which was very small, it only felt like it was like 7 to 10 tents too. It wasn't that big. You couldn't even get near it, and everybody was laughing because they were packed in like sardines. And even if you did make it in there, you weren't able to see them. So that's why if you have an event like this, if you have risers, so the people that are talking or different shows, everybody can see it because you look up, right? Instead of jimmying around people and their height and people looking through people's heads or trying to move people around, and people get aggravated because some people will stand there and not create space for anybody else, and they'll stay there the whole time the show's on and not move to allow other people to move up there. It gets to be very selfish, in my opinion, and aggressive. So that was a big joke. Roger Stone was there. It's so funny because when you sign up for the event, they get your phone number or stuff. So what would happen is they would text you and say, "Hey, Roger, it's Roger Stone here, and I want you to come see me. I'm going to sign your book for you." And you kept getting text messages on your phone for different people. It was mostly him that said, "Hey, come see me. I want to sign your book, blah, blah, blah." So that was a big fail too. I think that the average person, if they're not around any of this stuff and they go, it would leave a bad impression on them, because it is exciting to see your favorite personality up front and close. It is exciting to be able to get a picture, or if you can't, to at least see them at their craft live, right? To watch them hold the microphone and talk, and you can see the cameras, you can see the person, the producer cueing them. It's time to go. It's time to stop. That's thrilling. That's fun, because when you realize when they put on shows like that, there's a lot going on. There's a whole lot going on behind the scenes that we don't see on TV. Let me see. Kim says, people have been planning Trump type events for years. I'm so surprised the event was so poorly planned. And there were a lot of big names, and Kim, I'm not sure, like I said, if that was Charlie Kirk, his people, or if it was the venue, because I heard the venue purposely did that to try to derail everybody and to give Charlie a bad name so nobody would want to go to the events. And that's not what I'm trying to do. What I'm trying to do is say, be prepared. Be prepared. Have your clear little plastic bag if Trump's going to be anywhere, or your Ziploc. That's it. Don't try to bring food in. People that had purses or bags they couldn't see through, they weren't allowed in. So at that point, what do? You have to take your purse back to the car, then stand in the line all over again. And nobody wants to do that. So it's just better to simplify it and just listen to the rules, follow the rules as best you can, and try to get in there. So the media space was really, really bad. That was a disappointment too. And like I said, it felt like a basement because it was all black around you. It was terrible. And it was hard to even see anybody, to tell you the truth. As far as the merchandise, because who doesn't like to go to these events and have a memory or a souvenir? Well, the thing is, they did have quite a variety of merchandise. So all these different areas, that area was a little bigger. The media area was there, and it was that little like U-shaped media area. But behind that area was the merch tables where they laid out all kinds of stuff. And I have to tell you, people are pretty amazing. The different things they have printed on shirts or hats and stuff was pretty impressive. You just have to make sure you check the price and the quality, because to tell you the truth, there was a keychain I wanted, but it was really light. It was that fake plasticky silver looking, and it was a little heart, because I like hearts, and it was red, white, and blue, and it was adorable. And I thought, oh my gosh, it had sparkles on it, and I picked it up. Well, it was $9. And I'm like, I'm not paying $9 for this, so forget it. I put it back. But this is what I did get. I will show you this. So I did get this, and I thought it was pretty cool because it was pretty generic. So it's just a little old hat, like an old, like worn looking hat with the flag on it. And then on the back, it says USA. So I thought, you know what, this can be worn pretty much anywhere. I love it. And I'll have to tell you, this was only $25. So I thought this was a really good buy, because some of the stuff was really ridiculously expensive. It was not worth it at all. And that's what I don't like either, when people try to take advantage of people at these events. It feels like they're just taking money from you. They did have a lot of glittery hats that you see the people, like women, wear, that the hat was just full of glitter, and it would have, you know, different sayings on it and stuff. They had plenty of t-shirts. Like I said, Stone was there, Roger Stone, selling his book. And then they did have a table that had a whole bunch of different books on it, you know, like Donald Trump Jr. and a couple other people, their books that you could buy too. And they were reasonably priced. If you want, I think it was like three for like 45 or something like that. They would have bundles and stuff like that. Thank you. I do love the hat too. I was very happy to have that. Then you get the free stuff, right? That these different people hand out, you know, because it's tchotchkes, it's their logos or whatever. But I was very happy this because day 2, you were allowed, which we didn't know, you were allowed to bring in your duffel bag and stuff, but we didn't. We kept bringing our plastic bags because we didn't want to get kicked out. And this little bag, I got this little bag because I like the saying on it. It says, "I think for myself," the Daily Signal. Let's put it over here. So that's not a bad little duffel bag for free. So we grabbed one of those. And then I got my little Trump sticker, which was really cool. And then somebody was handing these out. You guys have seen these, right? I did that because people put them on gas station pumps and stuff like that. So I was really happy to get one of those for free. And then we had another thing. You can handle the truth was another saying there, you know, instead of "you can't handle the truth," we can handle the truth, and we want to know the truth. So they were handing out, I've got pins, you know, like shirt pins with that on there. Then somebody was handing this out too. It's the Biden. Oh, hey, that's got a swear word on it. I didn't realize it has swear word. But anyways, this is on there. They handed out. And then this was my favorite thing, you guys. I was so excited to get this. And I think I put a picture on my community page of me wearing it. It's the Real America's Voice wristband here. And then it says, "Get Real." Now, the reason I'm so happy about this is, you guys know these wristbands, they're very popular at concert venues or whatever. And I've seen these charged up to $5 for these. Anywhere from $2 to $5 for this little piece of rubber. But I'll tell you what, Bannon's people, they were handing them out for free. And I thought, dang, that's pretty cool. So I will cherish this. Real America's Voice. And then it says, "Get Real" here. Yeah, I can't do it on the camera very well, can I? But anyways, I was thrilled to get that. Then I was talking to you guys about the guy that's running for office there in Florida, and he was passing out $1 million. So he had these. Now this guy, what did he say? He was 24 years old, and he had these, you know, was handing them out to people. I mean, this guy, he's got it down pat to be a politician. And I said, you better stay being a good one, dude, because you've got that. He wore a nice suit. He was a really clean cut, good looking young guy, and he just loves this country. And he's like, I want to, you know, run for office and do what I can do. He's been doing this on and off and being involved in this for many years, but decided to run. So I'm thinking he's pretty crafty. So he's got this made up, right? This $1 million bill. But on the back where it says, "In God We Trust," he had that printed up. It's got different scripture and stuff back there. And I don't have my glasses on it. I can't read it. But anyways, it's basically scripture back there. And then it says, visit needgod.com and livingwaters.com. So I thought, here's this young gentleman running for office, and I think that's pretty amazing. So he had this made up of his own, on his own dime, and was handing this out to people. And I thought, you know what? It was good to see young people, because we hear so much nowadays about the young people and what they're doing to their bodies and the way of thinking, and how some have no desire to have careers and they're stuck on video games and they're just slow moving to get out there and get into the world. So it was so great to be able to see so many good young kids out there. I call them kids, they're young adults, just enjoying this event, enjoying the speakers, you know, just being happy. It was just really amazing to see that. So this thing that Charlie Kirk has going on is really a wonderful, wonderful dude. I think it's amazing. Also, a future president, right, Kim? So day 2 was all the speakers. Okay. That was really amazing. Like I said, Bannon spoke. If you guys didn't get a chance to watch Bannon's Turning Point USA speech, I mean, it's on Twitter, it's on Truth Social, it's on Rumble. You guys should see it. And it was amazing because he was lit up. Like, he's already lit up when he's doing War Room, but this was like unfiltered. He owned that stage, walking up and down that stage. You could feel the passion and the determination in him to get this country back, this fight. And he had in his closing point, he actually ended up dropping the mic drop. And it was so funny because Charlie goes, "You're going to have to pay me for that, Steve, because you broke it." But it was great because all these people that were speakers did a fantastic job walking up and down the stage, trying to involve the audience. And none of them seemed where they were like this, reading a piece of paper, like, "Oh, no, 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 no," and not going off script. You got to see all these speakers and their personalities come out and their passion for this country come out. And like I said, you'll be able to see that if you go on Rumble and stuff. They just posted Donald Trump Jr.'s speech from the event like 2 or 3 hours ago. I think 3 hours now. And at the end of the event, so that was good, that whole day thing. Day 2, every speaker was really good. It was great to see. Then when it was time to leave, we got ushered out again. And this was the sticking point, you guys. I can't believe this. We go to leave the venue, and as we're exiting, they want us to pay for our parking at these kiosks. And then once you did that, you went to your car and you'd pull out to the gate, and you had to stick your validated ticket into the machine to open the gate, drop it back down, and go. Well, we were in the parking garage over 2 hours trying to leave that parking garage. It only holds apparently 1,000 people or there was only 1,000 people or something, because we were going crazy. People were honking. People were shutting off their cars because we literally backed out of our spot and we couldn't even turn to get out of there. And we sat there for 2.5 hours. We got out of the car at one point to see if we could go into the venue to find out what was going on. Was there an accident? Did the gates break or what? And then it started moving a little bit. But then every time it would move 1 or 2 cars and dead stop. So we couldn't believe it. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're in the parking garage 2.5 hours. So we finally get to the gate. It starts moving very slowly. We get to the gate and I said to the guy, I said, "What in the heck happened?" And he ignored me. And I said, "Sir, what happened?" And he said, "That's what happens when you have 1,000 people trying to leave at the same time." And he had an attitude at me. And I thought, oh, no, you don't. These people paid all this money and stuff to be here. This venue made tons of money and you're going to have that attitude. So what it was, I don't know if the gates broke, you guys, or what, but there were only 2 booths. And what was happening is the person was coming out of the booth. He'd grab your ticket. He'd take it back into the booth and do something, and then the gate would go up, and then you could leave. And then he got out of the booth and he did it, and there were only 2 gates. So they had to individually do these tickets, and we never did get an explanation for that. So I couldn't believe leaving that venue. It had like a 2.5 an hour wait. It was terrible. I know that Charlie came on stage at the end of day 2, once again apologizing profusely for everything that went wrong for the event. He was very apologetic and stuff. I haven't looked online. I haven't, because I haven't been home. I don't know if they made amends to people that paid this money, if there were refunds. I don't know anything if he did or not, but I'm just going to say Charlie did twice apologize for what happened at the event. And I'm pretty sure, my gut would say he wouldn't go do an event there again, because apparently he did an event in Tampa or Fort Lauderdale as well, because he's been doing these events for a while now and there was no issues or no problems. So nobody's really sure why he chose this event this time around. It didn't make sense to people that have been going to these events over and over again. So basically the bottom line is, if you guys ever go to any of these events, I would suggest getting general admission, not doing the VIP, because if it turns out like that and you didn't get your food and your seats and stuff, that's not going to be good. Your first venture into an event like this, I would do general admission. It's much more cost friendly. Wear your tennis shoes. Be mindful of what's in your bag. I wouldn't bring a lot of stuff. I couldn't even bring my portable phone charger. They didn't want anything like that in there day 1 with Trump. If Trump is there, obviously it's very, very secure. I don't blame them for that, but just be aware of that, the details of that. Don't try to bring water. Don't try to bring food, nothing. Day 2 was a little more lax because he wasn't there. Secret Service was gone. So you get a little more wiggle room, let's just say, but there's still restrictions on your bag size and stuff like that. And I think people brought in water on day 2 and they let them through with that. But day 1, absolutely not. And I would say just go and make sure you have plenty of sleep. Make sure you don't have high expectations of things running quick, because if they do, that's a benefit. But, plan for the worst as far as waiting in lines and the timing and stuff like that. Because that's the biggest thing is the lines. And, when you have 6,000 people in a venue and you have one concession stand, and guess what? I forgot to tell you this part. There was only one register open. So you had one cashier for 5,000 or 6,000 people, even if 4,000 people were in line to get food, because that was the only place to get food at that point. Let's say it was 3,000 or 4,000 people. Imagine how long that line was. That line stayed that way all day long. Even once Trump was speaking and stuff, you could look back there and see people were still in line to get food because it didn't matter because they couldn't get into the venue where Trump is. They could see him speaking, but you were from afar. So the bottom line was it was an experience. It was good and it was bad. Both. West Palm, I don't know if any of you guys have ever been to West Palm, but it's beautiful there. And I was thankful to be able to travel around looking at some of the homes, went to the beach, just get that West Palm vibe going on. It is a stunning place. There's little towns as well, little downtown. And it was Delray. I was in Delray too. Beautiful, charming little downtown. We ate at this beautiful restaurant, and you walk out, and then next thing you know, there's a big like a yacht club there. Because I walked out and I said to my friends, what are all those big boats? And some of those yachts are like bigger than like 3 houses. I've never seen such big yachts up close. I've never been on a cruise or anything. So I'm like, oh my gosh, like that's people having too much money if you can afford one of those suckers, even if you rent it. But it was just beautiful to see. And I always say that, you can appreciate the bigger things in life, things you don't have, but you're always thankful for what you do have. And I said to my friends, that's wonderful that people can have that and afford that, but I hope they never take it for granted, because I think that sometimes in life, when we get things that we've been wanting for a long time, we lose appreciation for it, or we take it for granted. I mean, it can even be our dream house. It can be our dream car. It doesn't matter what it is. We just really need to stay humble and just be thankful for what we do have, and still be able to appreciate the other stuff. It's not like I'm mad that people can afford stuff like that. I'm just shocked that to see something up close like that, I'm like, oh my gosh. But all in all, you guys, it really was a good time, and being able to stay longer in Florida like I did was a blessing, because that took the edge off of the stress of everything that we went through at the event. And like I said, if you ever get a chance to see Trump talk, and like him or not, he's an amazing speaker. That's the thing. When you, and all these people were, because listening to people talk all day long can be tedious, daunting, boring, but all of them were good. And all of them, I have to say, really have a heart to want to get this country back, to get it back the way it was. All of them. And the big thing was talking about the children. We know that the children are at risk these days, that they're going after the children. They were all for that. And then I have to do some research, but I'm going to put it out there. I heard for that movie, Sound of Freedom, that it was a great movie, but I heard that they also want kids to get chipped. It was almost like they encourage you to get your kid chipped. And that sent a red flag up to me. Because if that indeed is true, we know that what's going on with the kids is true, and we are all about saving them. We know that we're all on the same boat, in the same board, to have the children saved. But instead of having my child chipped, if they did indeed suggest that, I would say, let's have the unaliving penalty for the people that go after the children. Why do I don't like the idea of that happening to my children being chipped. I would much rather us have stricter penalties and laws. I mean, strict laws for people that harm children, because we know that they can't be rehabilitated. Supposedly, they need to be sent off away. They're the ones that should face the consequences for that, not our children. So if I'm in error on that, I will say I apologize for that. I haven't seen the movie, but if I see the movie and it says that, I just have an issue with that. I don't think that's the answer. I think stricter penalties on these monsters that go after the children is the solution. If we eliminate them, then we don't have to worry about our children being chipped, do we? Why do these adult males and females who harm our children and make it that there's such a movie that has to come out like this? Why do they have to get chance after chance, or why do they get to live a life, still living and breathing when they've harmed our children? Because we know that they just want to get after the children. So, yes. Okay. Southern Cal. That's good to know at the movie, because somebody was saying to me that it was innuendo to protect them at the end of the movie, that you should do that. I don't know if it was in the credits or not, but like I said, if I'm in error, I'll take it back. But that just sent a red flag up to me. I just wanted to put it out there. So, it's good to know, Southern Cal Patriot. Thank you so much. So with that, you guys, that's about it for my adventure down there in West Palm. Good times, but I'm glad I finally was able to get on and share it with you guys. And, summer's coming to an end. I hate to say it already, but it is. So I'll be able to get to a more regular schedule, but I hope all of you have been enjoying your summer, friends, family, the outdoors. That's what I've been doing. I've been working hard too, because I had to make the extra money to be able to get down there. So I've been working more than I usually do. I'm just thankful I'm healthy enough to be able to do that. But I've missed you guys, and I try to at least put shorts up or community things up there, just so you know I'm still around and to stay in touch. But other than that, I'll try to get to a regular schedule. My dream is to do a couple devotions a week at least, and then do a couple other shows with news and stuff, because I love doing that. It's just trying to find a good time. And I figure, you know what, if I just pop on and do it and try to commit to like 2 or 3 days a week for each, the devotions and the news shows, that'll be good. And you guys can catch it even if it's not live. But I really would like to nail down a schedule. It's just not going to happen, anytime real soon. But coming up more in the fall, it's easier to do. But with that, thank you guys for your support, always reaching out to me, texting me, and Gmailing me at tammynation.com and supporting this channel. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. And I will see you soon on the next one. I hope that you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. And it's marvelous. It's Saturday night. So enjoy yourself. And I'll catch you soon, you guys. Bye-bye.